ever heard a song or nursery rhyme like Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-O, and the farm he had some ducks, E-I-E-O, and a quack quack here, quack quack there. Then this quack quack are called as onomatopoeia. Everybody, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to Kuliah Teknokrat channel with me, Erlin Rumaili, and material of sound and sense in poetry, or later on we could call it as romantic poetry. Well, students, let's see here. Today's discussions is about language of poetry. Do you know language of poetry? So, there are several discussions that we are going to discuss on this session. There will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 discussions that will be our boundaries for today's meeting. Number 1, we're going to discuss about assonance. Number 2, consonants. Number 3, alliterations. 4, repetition. The next is onomatopoeia. And you will be familiar with this one, denotation. And the last one is connotation. If one day is not enough, if one meeting is not enough for us for discussing about the 7 material, we're going to discuss about 4 material first. Let's see now. Number 1, what is assonance? Assonance is the use of identical vowel sounds surrounded by different kinds of consonants or vowel sounds in the beginning. Let's see here. If later on, when you see one lyric of the song or even one stanza of the poem or even full of stanza of the poem, there are several words that it is combined between vowel and consonant sound. So this is the thing that you have to focus. There will be a vowel sound that you have to focus on it. So it is called as assonance. Let's see for the sample. What is it about? See the sample. The sample is taken from Up and Julia's Clothes by Robert Herrick, and see over here. Do you still remember about vowel sounds, right? There will be A, I, O, U, and also E. But this is the different point with Indonesian's poetry or Indonesian's poem, in which that when you mention A, you could just say A. Well, in English poem, you can even mention it as E, or even A, or even E. So this is the thing that you have to pay attention. Pay attention on the vowel sounds and surrounded of the consonant sound. Let's see over here for the sample. Next, when I mind eyes and see. Let's discuss this E as the vowel sounds. And for the next line of free over here, you can see over here, double E, it is resulted as E. You mention it as E, not E, not A. Okay? Then you have to see the similar sounds surround these lines or surrounds these words. Yes, you see over here, see and free. So you could say that see and free as the assonance in this stanza. How about others? How about others vowel sounds like A? You could see over here on the white color one. A here could be mentioned as A. A, then you can see later on also in the pronunciation, the way how you pronounce this one. And you have to see also the same sound. So you could call A also, assonance A are brave, vibration, and also way. Can we say that the words of that as also assonance A for this case, like for brave, vibrations, and then way? Is it the same as these 3 of brave, vibrations, and then way? When that here is different, when the vowel sounds of that is different with these 3, like brave, vibration, and then way, then you cannot call that the words of that on the third line on oh, how, that is called as assonance A. That will be the same as brave, vibration, and then wave. So that will be later also the same as others A. A that is read as A. Okay, so this is the thing that you have to pay attention on the assonance. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, let's see another sample. For glittering, you can see here over here again, the letter E, the sounds of E, A. So it is read as not E, like glittering, right? So glittering and also taken. So glittering and taken, and then here are called as assonance E that is read as So you can later also analyze it as the, what is that? Assonance that is pronounced as yeah, E as I mean. So they are glittering and also taken. Do you get the points on it? I hope that you can understand with this explanation. Let's see for the next discussion. Or this is also another sample that hopefully you also will be more understand after reading this one or after listening this explanation. Like O, this is the vowel sounds of O, O. Then there are three kinds of O's, the way of reading O. O, A, Go, O, yeah? So you have to be careful. Long, with long, got, and also off. So they are same. They are called as assonance O. While this one like goes, most. So this is the thing that you also have to pay attention with the way how you pronounce, the way how you sounded this vowel sound. Again, also old. And how about lovers? This is not lovers, but lover. Love and love. So, what are you waiting for? Then you can also check your dictionary. How is the way you pronounce this vowel sound? Okay, then I hope you can get the points on this part. Then next, what is the next of language of poetry? So it is called as alliteration. In the beginning, your focus is on the vowel sounds that are surrounded by consonant sound. While for alliteration, your focus is on the consonant sound. That this consonant sounds is started in the beginning. So when you later also face or meet consonant sound in the beginning of the word, then they are same, then you can say it as alliteration. Have you ever heard like Betty buy a bit of butter, but the butter is bitter? So all words are started by the consonants B. Betty buy a butter, but a butter is a bitter. B, b, b. So these b, b, b are called as alliteration. Since or why it is called as alliteration? Because it is started by a consonant sound. Or just like when you've ever heard about Sally sell a scissor, but a scissor Sally sell a scissor. So you can see, so these words are started with S as the consonant sound. So what is actually alliterations, everybody? Alliteration is actually the repetitions of consonant sounds which usually occurs in the beginnings of the words. As you see on the sample, as I also mentioned before, then you can see on the sample of William Shakespeare, Sonnet 116. Whose word a noun, although his head be taken. And you can see also the next line. Then you can also find some consonants sounds there. So how about over there? W and W. Why the words of whose there are not categorized as also alliterations of W, which is read as w, like word. So it is different since whose there is read as whose, not whose. Yeah? So it is not called as alliteration W or alliteration of w. Well, alliteration of w could be found and word within. Okay, so these two are called as alliteration W that are read as w. Okay, how about next? Like taken. So this is also consonant sound, right? So taken, you can see another T that is read as T, like times. So taken and times also are read by T, yeah, in the beginning of the words. So you can say that these two words, taken and then times, also are called as alliteration T, that is read as T. Okay, so you can say that alliteration T for these are taken and also time. So can't you find other words of the consonant sound for these lines, everybody? So you can find other words from this, or you can also later also find from your collections of their poem or your anthology. If you have some collections that you collect from some poets, then you can also try to analyze it. You also can try to find what are the alliteration or how many alliteration that you can find in one stanza. Okay, you can see, okay, next sample that is compass and also come. So it is started or begin with the consonant sound of C that is read as K, compass, not C, not chompas, but this is compass. And also come, that it is not read as chom, but come. So this compass and come are called also as alliteration. So everybody, now, do you get it? I hope that you can get it, since this point is the easiest point that I could say that it is the easiest one to be remembered, okay, for alliteration. And then next, how about next? Next language of poetry is repetition. I think you are really familiar with the words of repetition. If it is in the song, you can say like in refrain. Just like if you remember the song of Melly Guslow in a portrait, you can say that, I just want to say I love you, I just want to say I love you. Then it is repeated and repeated, so this is called as repetition. Easy, right? To just remember about repetition or to just understand about repetition, understanding. Let's see for this one, example from the poem, John Keats. From John Keats, yeah? You can see that a repetition here is repeated words or phrases used to add the emotional intensity of scene and to heighten certain effect. Okay, so this is the definition. While this definition is not coming from John Keats, then this definition is taken from Perrin. Yes, you can read later from the book of Sound and Sense. And the sample is this one. Forever will you love and she be fair, forever peeping, songs forever new, forever warm and still to be enjoyed, forever painting and forever young. So these forever are repeated by John Keats to emphasize the emotional intensity of what he feels. So this is actually the functions of repetition. It's just like in portrait song. I just want to say I love you, I just want to say I love you, and it is repeated. Just the song writer or even the poet wants to emphasize that I want to say something to you, then this is true. So that's something like that. So this is the thing that later you also can create by yourself by repetition. And it is not hard to be remembered and not hard to be also produced. Okay, how about the next? Next is consonants. Consonants, how about consonants here? Well, some students say that understanding about consonant is quite hard, since sometimes it's quite tricky to just remember, to just find about how it is spelled or how it is, mentioned or pronounced, like this one. The use of the identical consonant sound preceded by different vowel sounds. As you can see over here on the sample. No platonic love. The sample is taken from William Cartwright. You see, the end of this line, for minds and then also the third line. What make it different, ladies and gentlemen? Do you read it as minds and also wines? Is that correct? Of course not, right? So it should be minds and also wins. So what are different from this one? The end of the sound is sounded by consonant sound. But what make it different? The difference is the vowel sound. The first you read as minds. I that you read as I, minds. While the next, the third lines, I or I here is not read as I, but I, wins. Minds and then wins. So this is what we call as consonants. So this is kind of tricky one that you also have to be careful later on by finding some other samples of consonants from some other works. It could be from song, it could be also from poem. So, ladies and gentlemen, do you understand for this station? Do you have any question? If you have question, do not feel hesitate to ask me later on in the column, or I mean in the comments, or even in the certain chat. Okay. So next, what is the next then? The next is onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia is a technique of using a word whose sound suggests its meaning. Have you ever heard a song or nursery rhyme like Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-O, and the farm he had some ducks, E-I-E-O, and a quack quack here, quack quack there. Then this quack quack are called as onomatopoeia. Okay, so the points that you have to remember is that an onomatopoeia is kinds of word that when you listen or when you read, when it is kind of text, so it suggests to certain sound. The meaning must be about certain sound. Okay. And you see on the sample, like my stick fingers, click, 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 click. Or just like when you also move your mouse, click, click, click. So there must be sound, right? Click, click, click. So this is called as onomatopoeia. With a seeker. And chuckling, they knuckle the keys. Okay, so you also could see like knuckle the keys that you produce certain sound with certain object of this one. So when it result, when it suggests to meaning of certain sound, so this is called as onomatopoeia. So, ladies and gentlemen, can we still continue our discussion? Do you still with me? When yes, then I could continue it. How about next? The next is denotation. Denotation, I think everybody here also really familiar with these words. It refers to the lexical or dictionary meaning of a word. It indicates conventional relation between a word and also the idea. So what does actually the meaning of this statement? It's just like when you read one word, so this word conveys meaning that you don't need to find meaning based on certain context, or you don't need to find the meaning behind of the screen, just like in historical points. What is the meaning of this one? You don't need to do so. So you just need to find it from dictionary, what actually the meaning of this one. Just like when you are going to find the meaning of spring, so you can say that this is kind of season. Okay, season is okay, in certain condition. So you don't need to find what is the historical point of season, spring. So this is what we call as denotation. This is the sample. Just like when you read this one from the poem of John Clare, first love. So what is actually his feeling when he feels his first love? Then he tried to, describe her girl like this one. Her face, it bloomed like a sweet flower. Face, that this is real face. Face, okay, a physical appearance of someone. Okay, so it is not dealing with certain historical situation or certain situation. Just face. and bloom like a sweet flower. As you see, flower must be beautiful. Even, sorry to say, when we are in Indonesia, there is certain flower like kembang, that's the colorful one, like flower that is in Bengkulu, bunga bangkai. Even it is called as bunga bangkai, but then physically it is beautiful, right? So this is the thing that John Clare wants to say. Her face, it bloomed like a sweet flower. Sweet flowers means that really beautiful, okay? And then stole my heart away complete. So this is about his expression. To talk about the audience, to talk about one girl that he loves as his first love. And to talk to anyone who reads his poem that this is his feeling. And the end of the lines is, my legs refuse to walk away. Then even he cannot move when he faces the girl that he loves. So this is really denotative. This is really based on the lexical meaning. So you don't need to find the historical point from this. Okay, then I hope that you've got the points on the denotation one. So this is the last one, connotation. Some people like to produce some connotations words to say something that is not literally stated. So people have to find what is actually the meaning behind of the screen. So this is what we call as connotation. You can see on this, what is that definition? That connotation is, this kind of condition that refers to the emotional, psychological, or social tones that words carry in addition to their denotation meaning. So, connotation will be referring about certain situation. It could be about the emotional feeling, it could be about psychological conditions of the writer or psychological condition of certain object or even social tones. As you see over here in this sample by P.B. Shelley, the title is A Layman. And you can see over here, out of the day and night, a joy has taken flight. Fresh spring and summer and winter hoar. Please see this sample, please see also the title, A Layman. Do you know the meaning of a layman? A layman is kind of complaining, but with certain bad situation like this getting to be really depressing. So you see, the words of fresh spring, summer, and winter hoar do not on the points of certain season, but you have to see what is the meaning behind of this situation. That this fresh spring, this beautiful situation, these very lovely conditions are taken flight, as you see on the second lines of this poem. A joy has taken flight. It means that those happiness, those warmful situation, those cheerful situation has already gone. A joy has taken flight. That's why Shelley say it as a layman. That Shelley wants to criticize one condition and situation in certain social tones at the time that people here feel, depressed or wants to complain to situation or condition or even to the government about the situation happened at the time. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that this material really make you understand about the way you analyze a poem or the way you analyze a song. You can also analyze song lyric by this one. Then you can use also this one as your material for finding about title for your thesis later on to find about language of poetry and lyrics or inner poetry. So, what are you waiting for? So later, please find a sample of a poem that it contains of connotation, denotation, alliteration, assonance, repetition, onomatopoeia, and what else? And where is that? Assonance. Yeah, so I hope that you can get this point and I hope that you really understand with this. Thank you very much for watching and see you next time. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih sudah menyaksikan video pembelajaran ini. Jangan lupa like, komen dan subscribe, serta nyalakan tanda loncengnya agar kalian tidak ketinggalan informasi update lainnya.
I hate body, 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 body.